These most rare and valuable old, dirty, wheat pennies in your pocket change. These old pennies don't look special, they look worthless. But hidden under decades of grime could be one of the rarest mistakes the US Mint ever made. Collectors are paying jaw-dropping prices for wheat pennies most people would throw away without a second glance. Stop scrolling. I'm about to tell you how a filthy, brown, almost forgotten penny, the kind most people toss into a jar or leave on the ground, could secretly be big money, a hidden treasure, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value. I'm serious. If you've ever held an old, dirty 1920 wheat penny, especially one. Because this isn't just a penny. This is a survivor from a dangerous, chaotic moment in American history. Picture this. The year is 1920. The First World War has just ended. America is changing fast. Factories are booming, people are moving to cities, and the U.S. Mint is under massive pressure to produce coins for a growing economy. Machines are worn down. Dies are reused far longer than they should be. Quality control. Rushed. And that chaos is exactly how hidden treasure is created. Most people think a dirty old penny is worthless. That belief has cost people thousands of dollars. The 1920 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a small D, and San Francisco with a tiny S. Millions were made, but condition, errors, and subtle details separate pocket change from big money. Here's the first shocking truth. A regular 1920 wheat penny in poor condition might only be worth a few cents. That's what keeps people blind. But in high grade, especially if it still has original color under that dirt, values explode. A 1920 penny graded MS65 red has sold at auction for over $7,000. That's not hype. That's real money for 1 cent. And most of these coins don't look impressive at first glance. Now let me reset your attention, because this is where it gets serious. The 1920 D wheat penny is where collectors' hearts start racing. The Denver Mint struggled that year. Fewer coins survived in nice condition. A heavily worn 1920 D might sell for $1 or $2. But a clean, sharply struck example. Hundreds. In mint state. Thousands. One high-grade 1920 D red example crossed the auction block for over $20,000. Same date. Same coin. Completely different life-changing value. And then there's the 1920s. San Francisco pennies are notorious for weak strikes. Lincoln's face often looks flat. The wheat lines on the back blur together. So when a strong, well-struck 1920s appears, collectors go wild. In top condition, these have sold for $10,000 to $15,000. Now listen closely, because the dirt might actually be protecting you. Many valuable wheat pennies look dark, brown, or dirty, because the original copper has toned over 100 years. That brown color doesn't mean damage. In many cases, it means original surfaces, and collectors pay huge premiums for originality. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value instantly. That ugly penny might be a hidden treasure begging to be left alone. Let's talk about errors, because this is where things get shocking. During 1920, worn dies caused die cracks, thin raised lines running across the coin. Some 1920 pennies show dramatic cracks through Lincoln's portrait or across the wheat stalks. These aren't scratches. They're mint-made errors. Depending on size and placement, these can sell from $100 to over $1,000. Then there are off-center strikes. If part of the design is missing but the date is still visible, values can jump to $500, $1,000, even more. But one error changes everything. The 1920 double die varieties. These happen when the die is misaligned during hubbing, creating a doubled image. Look closely at the date, 1920. Look at the word, liberty. Look at, in God we trust. If you see strong doubling, not flat machine doubling, but thick, clear separation, you could be staring at big money. Some double-die wheat pennies from this era have sold for $5,000 to $25,000, depending on strength and condition. And here's another twist. The rim. Most people never check it. But uneven, thick, or partially missing rims can signal a broad strike or partial collar error. These errors are dramatic and visible even to beginners. A strong rim error on a 1920 penny can easily bring $300 to $2,000. Still not impressed? Let me tell you a real story. A collector bought a small roll of junk wheat pennies at a flea market for $5. Inside was a dark, ugly 1920 S. He almost cleaned it. Instead, he sent it to be graded. It came back MS-64 brown. Auction result? Over $4,000. That single penny paid for a vacation. That's not luck. That's knowledge. And here's something most people don't know. Some 1920 pennies were struck on wrong planchets. Rare, but real, there are documented cases of wheat pennies struck on foreign or leftover blanks. When authenticated, these can reach 5 figures. Not millions, but absolutely life-changing value for something found in a jar. So how do you identify a valuable one? First, check the date, 1920. Second, check the mint mark under the date, no mark, D, or S. Third, inspect the color. Red is king, but original brown still matters. Fourth, look closely for doubling, cracks, or off-center strikes. Fifth, examine the rim and edges. And most important, do not clean it. Every year, people destroy big money coins with good intentions. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most valuable coins in the world looked completely ordinary before someone took a second look. Hidden treasure doesn't shine. It hides in dirt. It hides in jars. It hides in pockets passed down through families. And right now, somewhere, someone is spending a 1920 wheat penny worth thousands. For 1 cent, don't let that be you. Because the next time you see an old, dirty wheat penny, remember this story. Remember the chaos of 1920. Remember the errors. Remember the auctions. Remember the life-changing value that hides in plain sight. Stop. Don't blink. Because the grimy, brown penny you're about to hear about, the kind most people ignore, toss in a jar, or call worthless, could be big money, a hidden treasure, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value. I'm talking about an old, dirty 1935 wheat penny. And yes, people have already cashed in thousands of dollars from this exact coin. Here's the mystery. 1935 wasn't a flashy year. No war headlines. No gold rush drama. And that's exactly why this penny slipped under the radar. While collectors chase famous dates, the 1935 wheat penny quietly traveled through pockets during the Great Depression, handled by farmers, factory workers, shop owners, getting worn, scratched, and darkened. But hidden inside that ordinary story are rare survivors, secret errors, and shocking auction results. Let me say this clearly, most people have looked at a 1935 wheat penny, and had no idea what they were holding. The 1935 Lincoln cent was struck at 3 mints. Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. Millions were made, yes, but very few survived in top condition, and fewer still carry the errors that create big money. Here's your first shock. A regular, dirty 1935 penny might be worth just a few cents. That's why people overlook it. But a 1935 penny graded MS-66 red, bright original copper, never cleaned, has sold at major auctions for over $15,000. 1 cent $15,000. That's not hype. That's documented auction history. Same date. Same design. Totally different life-changing value. Now let's reset your attention, because the story gets better. The 1935 D wheat penny is where collectors start sweating. The Denver Mint didn't strike as many high-quality coins that year. Many were weakly struck. Lincoln's jawline looks flat. The wheat lines blur. So when a sharply struck 1935 D shows up with strong detail, collectors fight for it. In circulated condition, maybe $1 or $2. In mint state, hundreds. In top red condition, $5,000 to $10,000 plus. And yes, many of these coins look dark and unimpressive at first glance. That dirty brown color, that can mean original copper surfaces, untouched for nearly 90 years. Collectors love originality. Clean that coin, and you could destroy big money in seconds. That's why so many hidden treasures are lost forever. Now listen carefully, because this is where things turn shocking. The 1935 double die varieties. These aren't myths. They're real, authenticated, and extremely valuable. Doubling can appear on the date, 1935, on Liberty, or on In God We Trust. Real double dies look thick, strong, and separated, not flat machine doubling. A confirmed 1935 double die penny can sell anywhere from $500 to over $5,000, depending on strength and condition. And most people never even look closely enough to notice. The mint reused dies far too long during the 1930s. As a result, many 1935 pennies show dramatic die cracks, raised lines through Lincoln's face, across the date, or slicing through the wheat stalks. These aren't damage. They're mint errors. Small cracks can bring $50 to $150. Major cracks, $500 to $1,500 or more. Still think that old penny is worthless? Let's talk rims, because this detail alone has created life-changing value. Some 1935 wheat pennies were struck with partial collar errors, creating thick, distorted, or uneven rims. Others were broad-struck, spreading wider than normal. These errors are easy to see once you know what to look for. Strong rim errors on a 1935 penny can sell for $300, $800, even $2,000 plus. And here's a true story. A collector inherited a coffee can of old wheat pennies. He almost dumped them back into circulation. Instead, he sorted them. One dark, ugly 1935 yes caught his eye. He sent it for grading. The result? MS-65 brown. Auction price? Over $3,500. That single coin paid his rent for months. That's not luck. That's awareness. Now let me reset your attention again, because this might be the most important part. The 1935 yes wheat penny. San Francisco coins from this era are notorious for weak strikes. Lincoln's cheek. The wheat lines. Often flat. That's why a fully struck 1935S is incredibly rare. In high grade, these coins explode in value. Circulated? Maybe $1. Uncirculated? Hundreds. Top grade red or red-brown examples. $7,000 to $12,000 at auction. And yes, some still sit in jars today. So how do you identify a valuable one? Check the date, 1935. Look for the mint mark under the date, none, D, or S. Examine the color, red, red-brown, or original brown. Look closely for doubling on letters and numbers. Inspect for die cracks and unusual lines. Check the rim for thickness or distortion. And above all, do not clean it. Every year, people erase hidden treasure with cleaning cloths and chemicals. Here's the truth most people never hear. Some of the biggest coin discoveries didn't look special. They looked old. They looked dirty. They looked boring. Until someone took a closer look and realized they were holding big money. Stop right there. Because the filthy, dark brown penny you're about to hear about, the one most people would never bend down to pick up, has already turned into big money, real hidden treasure, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value worth more than some brand new cars. I'm talking about the 1936 old, dirty wheat penny, and what you're about to learn could change how you look at every penny forever. Here's the mystery. 1936 was a year of quiet tension. America was crawling out of the Great Depression. Jobs were scarce. Money mattered. Pennies were used hard, passed hand to hand, dropped on factory floors, stuffed into worn pockets. The U.S. Mint was under pressure to strike huge quantities of coins fast, and when speed matters more than precision, mistakes happen. Those mistakes are where hidden treasure is born. Most people think a dirty wheat penny is junk. That belief has already cost collectors thousands of dollars. The 1936 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. Millions were made, yes, but here's the shocker, very few survived in top condition, and even fewer carry the errors that turn 1 cent into big money. Let me hit you with the first jaw-dropper. A common, worn 1936 penny might be worth a few cents. That's why people ignore them. But a 1936 penny graded MS-67 red with blazing original copper color has sold at auction for over $30,000. 1 penny. $30,000. That's not a rumor. That's a real auction result that proves this coin can carry life-changing value. Same date. Same design. Totally different destiny. Now stay with me, because it gets even crazier. The 1936 D Wheat Penny is a sleeper that collectors love. Denver Mint coins from this year often show weaker strikes and fewer high-grade survivors. In circulated condition, maybe $1 or $2. But in mint state, hundreds of dollars. In top red condition, $5,000 to $15,000 depending on grade, and I appeal. And here's the twist, many valuable examples look dark, dull, and unimpressive at first glance. That dirty brown color can mean untouched, original copper that's naturally toned over nearly 90 years. Collectors pay premiums for originality. Clean it, and you could destroy big money instantly. That's how hidden treasure disappears every day. Let's reset your attention, because this is where collectors start sweating. The 1936 double die obverse. This is a real, confirmed error variety. It happened when the die was misaligned during hubbing, creating doubled letters and numbers. Look closely at the date, 1936. Look at Liberty. Look at In God We Trust. Real double dies show strong, rounded separation, not flat machine doubling. A genuine 1936 double die penny can sell for $1,000 to over $10,000, depending on condition. Many have been found in junk wheat penny lots because people didn't know what they were seeing. Now let me shock you again. Die cracks. Stop, right now, because the old, dark, filthy penny you're about to hear about, the one most people would never bother to pick up, has already turned into big money, real hidden treasure, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value worth tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking about the 1937 old, dirty wheat penny, and by the end of this video, you may never look at a penny the same way again. Here's the mystery that makes this coin so dangerous to ignore. 1937 was a strange year. America was still limping out of the Great Depression. People didn't save pennies, they spent them, dropped them, wore them down. The U.S. Mint was pushing production hard, equipment was stressed, and mistakes quietly slipped through. Those mistakes weren't noticed back then, but today, collectors will pay huge money for them. Most people believe a dirty wheat penny is worthless. That belief has destroyed more hidden treasure than you can imagine. The 1937 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. On paper, it's common. In reality, certain versions are anything but. Let me shock you right away. A regular, worn 1937 penny might be worth just a few cents. That's why people overlook them. But a 1937 penny graded MS-67 red, with blazing original copper color, has sold at auction for over $20,000. 1 cent $20,000. That's documented auction history, and proof of true life-changing value. Same year. Same coin. Completely different fate. Now stay with me, because this is where things get serious. The 1937 VDB Wheat Penny is a sleeper that collectors hunt aggressively. Denver Mint coins from this year often show weak strikes and fewer high-grade survivors. In circulated condition, maybe $1. But in uncirculated condition, hundreds of dollars. In top red grades, $5,000 to $12,000 plus depending on eye appeal. And here's the twist, many valuable examples look ugly. That dark brown, dirty color often means original, untouched copper that has naturally toned over nearly 90 years. Collectors crave originality. Clean it, and you could wipe out big money instantly. That's how hidden treasure gets destroyed every single day. Now let me reset your attention, because this is where collectors' hearts start pounding. The 1937 double die varieties. These are real, verified, and extremely valuable. Doubling can appear on the date, 1937, on Liberty, or on In God We Trust. True double dies show strong, rounded separation, not flat machine doubling. A confirmed 1937 double die wheat penny can sell from $750 to over $7,500, depending on strength and condition. Many have been pulled from bulk wheat penny rolls because people didn't know what they were seeing. But we're not done. Die cracks. Stop scrolling because the dirty, brown penny you're about to hear about could be big money, real hidden treasure, and in rare cases a truly life-changing value worth more than most people make in a year. I'm talking about the old, dirty 1945 wheat penny, a coin born at the exact moment the world changed forever. Here's the mystery. 1945 wasn't just another year. It was the end of World War II. Soldiers were coming home. Factories were exhausted. Machines at the U.S. Mint had been pushed to their limits for years. Dies were overused. Quality control slipped. And in that pressure-filled moment, the Mint unknowingly created coins that would one day shock collectors with big money potential. Most people think a dirty wheat penny from the 1940s is common. That belief has already destroyed more hidden treasure than you can imagine. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D, and San Francisco with an S. Millions were made, but survival in top condition is a completely different story. Let me hit you with the first jaw-dropper. A regular, worn 1945 penny might be worth just a few cents. That's why people ignore them. But a 1945 penny graded MS67 red, with blazing original copper color, has sold at auction for over $25,000. 1 cent $25,000. That's not hype, that's documented auction history and proof of real life-changing value. Same coin. Same date. Totally different outcome. Now stay with me, because it gets even more intense. The 1945 VDB Wheat Penny is a quiet powerhouse. Denver Mint coins from this year often show weaker strikes and fewer pristine survivors. In circulated condition, maybe $1. But in uncirculated condition, hundreds of dollars. In top red grades, $5,000 to $12,000 plus depending on eye appeal and strike quality. And here's the twist, many valuable examples look ugly. That dark, dirty brown color often means original copper surfaces that have naturally toned over nearly 80 years. Collectors pay premiums for originality. Clean that coin, and you could erase big money in seconds. That's how hidden treasure disappears forever. Let me reset your attention, because this next detail has shocked even experienced collectors. The 1945 Micro S mint mark variety. On some San Francisco pennies, the S mint mark is noticeably smaller and differently shaped than normal. It's subtle, easy to miss, and highly collectible. A confirmed 1945 Micro S can sell for $300 to over $2,000, depending on condition. Most people never even look at the mint mark closely enough. But we're not done. Die cracks. By 1945, mint dies were absolutely worn out. That's why many pennies from this year show dramatic die crack errors, raised lines across Lincoln's portrait, through the date, or slicing across the wheat stalks. These are not scratches. They're mint-made errors. Small die cracks can bring $50 to $150. Large, dramatic cracks, $500 to $2,500.